Hello, I'm Brian with Playing for Second, and today I'm going to continue on with my 20x6 for 2026 solo challenge with Stone Cold Hockey. So go ahead and join me at the table. I'll go over what we have going on here, and we're going to play a couple games. Okay, so this is one, I've been looking for a hockey game for a while. I'm a big hockey fan, and I have been wanting a game that does a little more than just stats, but also a decent amount of stats. And I don't mind a simulation, and this is primarily a simulation. So you're not really making a whole lot of decisions with this one, which is, I think, my only knock on it, really. I guess I'm spoiling my final thoughts here at the end. But there's a lot of thought that went into this, and this is a really fun game. So this is also just a PDF version of the game. I did not buy the game directly from the site. You can, but you can also just buy the PDF version, and it comes with your stamina tracker here. It will come with your player aids. It comes with the rule book that I think is 24 pages, something like that. It'll come with pretty much everything you need to play with the exception of teams. So then I also picked up last year's, so at the time of recording last year, I guess I should say, because I don't know when this is coming out, but the 2024-2025 season. So that gets you one card here for all 32 teams currently in the league. And it gives you all of their stats and roles and modifiers and everything like that are going to be on those cards. So then what I did is I went ahead and I'm a Columbus Blue Jackets fan, so I went ahead and downloaded and printed last season's Columbus Blue Jackets schedule, as well as the results, and I'm just kind of comparing the results to how I'm doing, and I'm keeping track. I have Google Docs for this, as well as all of the players and how they're doing in terms of goals, assists, points, goalies. I'm keeping track of their win-loss record, things like that. Just nerd stuff, right? Like when I was a kid, I don't know if anybody else out there did this, but when you played, I used to play wrestling games on like the PlayStation and Nintendos and all that stuff. And I would just sit there and I would book the matches and I would watch the computer play the matches and I would just keep track of who the champ was and stuff like that. Yeah, I was a nerd. I don't know why I said was. I am a nerd. So I really enjoyed doing that. And this kind of reminds me and gives me those feels. So if you're a hockey fan, I recommend this. But let's go ahead and get into what we're doing here. So I'm going to explain what I'm doing as I go. You're going to be using a D6 of whatever color you want. You're going to be using two D10s. They do need to be different colors, but the actual color doesn't super matter. And you're going to be using two D20s. Colors don't super matter, but red and blue are going to match home and visitors, so I do recommend red and blue. And again, if you do actually buy the game, and I believe the only way to buy it is from their website, that is where I got it. I'll have a link in the description. You'll get the dice that you need. It comes with a yellow D6. I don't have a larger size yellow D6 in the thousands of dice that I have. I just had tinier ones, so I just grabbed this guy. So before we get going here, we are ready for the next game in my season. Now, I'm planning on playing 2 games, and I am currently on a 6-game losing streak. So really hoping we can pull a win here, either against the Islanders, or my next game is against Winnipeg. So before you're ready for a game, the game is going to happen right here on this sheet. So Columbus is the home team. The Islanders are, of course, the away team. So we're just going to fill that in our sheet here. Columbus is the home team. Now, for their goalie, on the bottom here, Columbus used 3 goalies last year. The 2 main goalies that they used were Elvis Merzlikins and Daniil Tarasov. Merzlikins being their actual starter. So on a 0 to 62 on a D100 roll, so our 2 D10s, the black die is going to be our 10s, and the white die will be our single digits here. So that is a 69 chuckle. On a 69, Daniil Tarasov is in net. So we are just going to write up here, I'm just going to put Tarasov, and then you look at his goalie value. Both Merzlikins and Tarasov goalie value is a 6, which is not good. But as a Columbus fan, I can tell you that's accurate, especially last year. Had I rolled an 87 to a 99, Jet Greaves would be in goal. He's one of their goalies currently. He did very well last year. He had a very good streak at the end for him, which is why his goalie rating is a 12. That's a very high. I think the highest any stat goes is 13. But because he had limited plays last year, limited games, and he did so well in most of them, his goalie stat is very high. Now we're going to look up here at con. Con stands for contact. I think it stands for contact. So we are home, so we are going to use our home con of 9. Whereas New York is away, they're going to use their away con of 5. So we'll just plug that in over there now. The attack, defense, and aggression are those. So we're going to go 7, 6, and 4. And then you have your power play and your penalty kill as well. We're just going to mark those down. Not super important that you mark these down because they are on those cards. However, some of them can change throughout the game. So that's why you might want to write them down. And they give you a couple of rows here. If they do change, you can cross them out and then you can put in the new number. So the visiting team is the Islanders. Let's see who their goalie is going to be. They rolled a 56, which is Ilya Sorokin, who is their starter. And his goalie value is an 8. Okay. They have a 5 attack. They have a 6 defense. They have 3 aggression, not a very aggressive team. And they have a 3 power play and a 3 penalty kill. If you're unfamiliar with hockey and these terms, I highly recommend you watch some games. It's really fun. I love it. All right, now you're going to look up these home con range and this visitor con range. So this is going to determine with a D20 roll later, lots of times, who is going to be in control of the puck. I think that's what control or the con stands for. I'm pretty sure it is for control. So how you do that is you look at their control ratings. So Columbus is the home team, 9 minus Islanders 5, 9 minus 5. Is of course 4, and the first but definitely not last time we're going to look at one of these charts. On a 4, 2, 3, or 4, the home team is a 10 to 20 and the away team is 1 to 9. So we'll see that later, but effectively what that means is when we roll that D20, if it is a 10 to 20 at the right point in time, we will have the possession, and if it is 1 to 9, the Islanders will have possession. By the way, I will be calling Columbus we. I'm wearing the jersey. I'm part of the team, right? All right. Last thing we have to do here before we start is this puck battle threshold, which we will explain here shortly. But for that, you're just going to add up the 2 aggression numbers. So 4 and 3 is 7. Anything 9 or less is a 15. So you're going to put 15 plus. Okay. And now how this sheet here is kind of set up is you're going to have your 3 periods. First one, second one, and third one. So obviously we will start over here. So what you're going to do, and I'm going to go slow here on the first turn to kind of explain what I'm doing, and then I'll probably go a little quicker on the next one. So once you get the rules down and you know where you're looking on the charts, you can play a game in about 20 minutes. I've had some go a little less. I've had some go a little more. Depends on how often things happen. So effectively, this is almost like a highlight video. If you watch those on YouTube or on ESPN, you're not playing every single shot. You're not playing every single second. You're going to be tracking every few minutes on a D6 roll, how many minutes go by before something happens, kind of like a highlight video, right? So you can watch the whole game in those highlight videos in about 15, 20 minutes, which is effectively what we're doing here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to roll these 2 dice at the same time, and they're going to tell us something. So let's start with, we'll just do both of them at the same time. We're not going to do one at a time. So we're going to roll them both. All right, so we got a 7 on the D20, and I am going to use the red D20 for this every single time, just to stay in that habit, and I know what the red one means in this case. And then we got a 4 on the D6. So what that 4 means is we're going to count down from the last thing that happened. And the first thing that really happened here is the 20-minute mark. Hopefully that shows up okay. I'm going to try to put some stuff on screen too, some charts and things like that, just to give you a better view. Maybe than what the top down's doing here. But the start of the game here was at 20 minutes. You count down in hockey. So we're going to go 4 minutes. So 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. So we are at the 16-minute mark. Now what this 7 means is you're really just looking to see if that 7 is 15 or higher or if it's under 15. In this case, it is under 15. So there's going to be an attack possession. So I'm going to circle the A. The little 3 options here is basically telling you what chart are you looking at. If it's an attack, you're going to look at the attack charts, of which there are 4. We'll get to it It's not that bad. If it is a 15 or higher, you have a puck battle. This signifies like if they get up against the boards, they're fighting for the puck or hits, plays like that. Plays typically that aren't shots, but sometimes they are. And then the PP is a power play, which we'll most likely get to. There's been a penalty, I think, in every game. Not very many, though. They really do a good job, genuinely, of the scores have been around hockey scores. The amount of penalties have been around hockey penalties, things like that. So this tells us, okay, there is going to be, at the 16th minute, there is going to be some type of attack going on. So how do we determine who is on the attack and who is on the defense? That's where we're then going to grab both D20s. The red D20 I am going to use to determine control. So for that die, I am looking to see just what is the number. If it's a 1 to 9, then the Islanders are on the attack. If it is a 10 to 12, then the Columbus, I am on the attack. The blue die is simply defense. All we're looking for there, whoever is not on attack, do they play good defense, basically is what you're looking for. And you're going to compare that die to the defense number on both teams. Now, it just so happens both teams' defense is 6. So the blue die, we only care if it's 6 or below. If it's any higher than that, we don't really care about it. So let's go ahead and give them a roll here. Okay, so we rolled a 2 on the red and an 8 on the blue. So a 2 means it is going to be New York's possession. So I am just going to put here in possession, I am just going to put an NY for New York. An N would also suffice. You can put whatever you want in there. And then we are going to roll to see what happens. Well, the first thing you want to do here is that 8 is higher than our 6, which means our defense wasn't good enough to pretty much just stop the play right here. So that means we are going to be looking on the attack tables. The attack tables are on this right here. There's an A, a B, and a C column. So for this roll, and for most rolls on the tables, we are going to use our D100, so the 2 D10s. And again, black will be the 10s with this roll. All right, so that is an 83. So we are going to look on this chart, and we are going to look at 83 in column A. An 83, and it has flavor, because again, it is a simulation, but it also does have some flavor if you want to try to, play out the narrative in your head here. So it says attacking stamina greater than the defense's stamina, crease chance. So the attacking stamina, and again, New York is attacking, they are the visitors. So their stamina is 10, ours is 10. So this is not true, right? Attacking stamina is not greater than defense stamina, they're equal. So then we're going to move over to column B. Column B says equal stamina, slot chance. The stamina is equal, so they're going to get a chance at a shot from the slot. So up here, it is the chance chart. You're just going to go to the slot column. There is a point, a slot, and a crease. Those are the 3 different areas of the ice where they might get a chance. So in the slot column, we are again going to roll the D100. They rolled an 88. So we come down to the slot. We come down to 88, and it says save made, any goal rating. So it was basically a pretty bad shot. Any goalie in the league would have stopped that shot. So that ends this possession. So typically what I do, just to notify, you can put whatever you want here. This is just the notes section. So if you want to write down Tarasov makes a great save or whatever you want to write down, great. Me, I just put a line to signify they had their shot, nothing came of it. Okay? That's basically what you do for the rest of the game. So I'm going to start going a little quicker. So our next possession is going to happen in 3 minutes because we rolled a 3 on the D6. And it's an 11, which means it's not going to be a puck battle. So I go down 1, 2, 3. I'm going to circle the A just to signify that it's going to be some type of attack. Roll these 2. So our red one is an 18. That means we are going to have possession. And the blue one is a 20, which is most certainly higher than 6. So now we are going to roll on the attack chart. So I rolled a 45. So if you go to column A on the attack chart, 45 says attack 10 plus, scores, astounding redirection in the crease. Our attack is only 7. So we're going to go to column B. Column B says attack 8 or 9, crease chance. Our attack is 7. So we are going to go to column C. Column C says attack 6 or 7, yes, slot chance, otherwise pings the post, quick defender, clears the puck. So we get ourselves a slot chance. So again, we're going to go ahead and roll. We rolled a 95, which I can tell you is not going to score. 95 is save made, any goal rating. So same as them, absolutely terrible shot. Just shot it right into their glove for them, and it is no good. So for us, I did forget to put a C in there for our possession. Not that possession super matters, but if you're going to pause the game or something like that, that's where you would know who has possession. So again, we're going to go, all right, what's the next thing that happened? In 4 minutes, and then we rolled a 17. So we're going to have our first puck battle. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to circle the B to signify a puck battle. So the puck battle chart is on the opposite of this chart, right in here. And you're just going to roll D100. So that is a 54. Now on this one, it changes depending on what period you're in, including overtime. So a 54, I believe, is what I rolled before I messed those up. A 54 in the first period. Will to win. Both teams deal 1 hit in a battle for possession. Higher stamina team gets a crease chance. If equal, the home team gets a slot chance. So both teams deal 1 hit. This is how your stamina goes down. Whenever you take a hit, your stamina goes down. So both teams take 1. Our stamina for both teams now is at a 9, which may or may not come into play later in the game. Some of these things say, if your stamina is 8 or more, or if your stamina is 6 or more, things like that. So for us, we are the home team. So we are going to get a slot chance because the higher stamina gets a crease chance. If they're equal, the home team gets a slot chance. So with our slot chance, I don't know why I put that back up there. We are looking right in that column again. And you're looking low for these. That is a 9. So on a 9, that is a score. Any goal rating. Doesn't matter how good your goalie was. That was a fantastic shot. Went right into the back of the net. So we ended up getting possession during this puck battle, and we scored. So how I do that, and again, you can do it however you want. I just put score, and then I put the away team first, dash, and then the score for the home team, which is us. Now, this is the part that I'm keeping track of in a Google Doc, and this is the part that you do not by any means have to do if you don't want to. But I'm now going to roll to see who scored. So we're going to go ahead and roll that. That is a 3, which I can tell you because I've been playing this, is Kirill Marchenko. But if you look over here on the chart, there is a scorers column, an assist column, a PEN, which is a penalty column, and then an FM, which is the fight column. So we're trying to figure out who scored. Well, Kirill Marchenko, Kirill the Thrill, as they don't call him, is going to get that one. So I'm going to write this on here because, again, later I'm going to put this into a Google Doc because I'm a super nerd. Now, was there an assist? Well, I certainly want to know. So you're going to roll a D20. That is a 2. So if you look up here, there is an assist chart. So had that been a 1, it was unassisted. On a 2, there is 1 assist. You're going to roll on the assist column. If you get the goal scorer, then there's no assist. It's unassisted. So we are going to go ahead and roll again. That is a 27. We are now going to look at the assist column on Columbus's sheet, and my boy Zach Werenski got the assist. So I'm just going to mark A and put Werenski. And again, that is for flavor, but it's also for me to keep track of those stats because I find that fun. All right, so we are up a 1-0. Sound the cannon, by the way, and I may attempt to put that in here when I'm editing this. So if I did, go me. All right, we are ready to go. See if we can build off of that momentum here. Probably not because it's still just dice rolling. All right, so we rolled a 6 and an 8. So there is going to be an attack option here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's see who it is. Control, which again is the red one, is a 2. So New York has possession. And we rolled a 13 on our defense then. So there is no defense, which means they are rolling on the normal attack here. So let's go ahead and roll their attack. That is a 19, which more than likely is going to be the score. On a 16 to 21, if their attack is 4 or higher, their attack is a 5, they score. So New York ties it up 6 minutes after we go ahead. So I'm just going to write score, and I'm just going to put 1-1. Now, I don't keep track of who scores on me on the sheet, but I do roll to see who scored. On a 15, that is going to be Bo Horvat. They just got him from Vancouver. So Bo Horvat is going to score that goal. I don't roll for assist. I just roll for fun to see who scored against me. Okay, now we are going to roll again. Now there are only 3 minutes left in the period. So if this die is a 4, 5, or 6, period's over. It is a 2, so it is not. All right, and it is going to be an attack because this was under 15. Let's see who's in control. That is a 3. So they are in control, but we rolled a 1 for our defense. So New York is going to have an offensive or an attack option, but we roll on column D, which is the defense, because we were successful in our defense roll. Same dealio, though. You are going to run your D100. That is an 8, which isn't good for us, I don't think. Point chance as scrambling defenders race for a position. So they do get a chance from the point. So that is the far left column here on the chance chart. And that is a 15. Goalie 11 or higher saves. Otherwise, it is a score. Our goalie is only a 6. So that is another score right at the end of the period for New York. Which, as a Columbus fan, again, I can say that is on brand. All right, let's see. The D6 needs to be a 1 for anything else to happen this period because there's only 1 spot left. It's a 2. First period ends. So the first period ends with the away team being up. They had 2 goals. We had 1 goal in the first period. All right, second period is going to start. All right, 3 and 14. So we're going to go down 3, and it's only a 14, not a 15 or higher, so it will be an attack chance. Let's see, 16 and a 20 for the defense. So it is our possession, and they do not defend. 39. All right, so we're going to look on here at 39. Attack 9 or higher scores. Our attack is 7. So we go to column B. Attack 7 or 8, slot chance. So we are going to shoot from the slot. Let's see how we do. That is a 58. So we look at the slot, 58. Goalie 6 or higher saves. Their goalie is an 8. So their goalie saves the shot. Nothing. All right. Let's see here. We've got 5 and then a 13. So it is going to be another attack opportunity. And we are going to go ahead and roll. All right, 7 and a 2. So they get possession. They have the possession, but we did defend. So we're going to roll again on the column D defense chart here. It is still possible for them to score, even though we rolled a successful defend. 29. On a 29, sliding defenseman takes 1 for the team, take 1 hit. So we block the shot, but we take a hit. And whenever you take a hit, you lower your stamina. So our stamina is now 8. All right, which again could come into play later. All righty, we've got a 20 and a 5. So this is going to be a puck battle. See what we got here. 42, and we are in the second period. On a 42, a minor penalty on the visiting team. Home team takes a hit. So we're going to take another hit, but they were called for a penalty on that hit. So I'm just going to put in here New York minor penalty. So for the next 2, this is our first power play. So Columbus, we are now on the power play. For the next 2 time slots, we're not going to roll to see who's in possession or anything like that. We are in possession, and we are going to roll on the power play chart. However, before we roll on the power play chart, we have to look and see what the modifiers are. So our power play unit is a 6. Their penalty kill is a 3. 6 minus 3 is 3. So when we're looking at the power play chart, we are going to look at the power play unit advantage plus 3 or 4. So we are looking at this chart right here. And again, you're still just rolling the D100. That is a cocked 3, which will turn into a 5. 55. Big save made, defender scoops and clears. So for these next 2, you just put brackets around the power play like that. And Columbus is in possession. But the first one, They made a save. So we're going to try again. 19, that's got to be good. Scores, rebound chance, slams home. So we have scored on the power play. That is something I am not keeping track of, which I kind of wish now that I would have been. But I'm playing my games on a laminated sheet normally, so I don't have these sheets later to, save trees. So it is 2-2, so I cannot go back and figure out who scored on the power play. All right, let's figure out who scored here, though. That is a 63, which is James Van Riemsdyk, a.k.a. JVR. Did he have anyone help him out? Assist. That is a 7, and on a 7, he had 2 assists. The first one is the nearest forward, so we're just going to look at James Van Riemsdyk. I rolled a 63. The nearest to that is Matthew Olivier, so I'm just going to put that down. And the second one is random. 58, which is also Olivier, so we'll go to the next closest forward, who is Sean Monahan. All right, so we are all tied up 2-2 towards the end of the second. All right, that is a 13 and a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is it. The last thing that's going to happen this period. Let's see who gets a shot. All right, 19 and 15, or 12. It rolled to a 12. Either way, we have possession. They did not defend. Let's see if we can get a goal right here at the end. 49. On a 49 and an attack of 11 or more scores, our attack is 7. So we go to column B. 9 or 10 is a chance. So we go to column C. 7 or 8 is a point chance. So we're shooting from the point. That is a 56. Goalie of 4 or higher is going to make that save. Their goalie is an 8. So the goalie saves it right at the end of the period. And we go in to the third period, all knotted up, 2-2. All right. We are going to have a puck battle 2 minutes in to the third. And this thing is going to get in my way. So we're going to switch it over. Like that. Crushed it. All right, let's see what happens with the puck battle. That is a 6. We are in the third on a 6. Aggression check, minor penalty, also deal 1 hit. So for the aggression check, we each have an aggression score, and you're just going to add that to D20 rolls. So basically, we have a +1 on our aggression. We are the home team, so we will be the red die. The visitors will be the blue die, just using the color scheme off the stamina chart. We rolled a 2. They rolled a 3, which means it's a tie, because we are adding 4 and they are adding 3. And I don't know what happens in case of a tie. Let's just say here. All right, I'm back. Whenever it is a tie, whoever has the higher aggression rating, which is us in this case, wins the aggression check. If it were still tied, then it's the visitors. So in this case, we were a little too aggressive. We did cause a hit, but we also got a minor penalty. So I'm going to mark that on here. Minor penalty. And that means they are on the power play for the next 2 time slots. That is a 90. So, we have to figure out their power play is 3, our penalty kill is 4. So they are defensive unit advantage of +1 here. And on a 90, I can't imagine that scores. Counterattack scores, oh, I'm sorry, that's empty net. That would have been awesome. Penalty kill +1, 90. Kill zone, penalty kill unit auto kills this time slot and the next power play time slot if able, which is nice. So they would have had 2 power play time slots, but we just killed them both. And we are back to 5-on-5. Okay, 6, and it's going to be an attack. Whoops, wrong ones. Let's see, who is on the attack? 18, so we are on the attack, but they rolled a 1, so they do have defense, so we are rolling on the defense chart. We did roll a 10, though. Whoops, wrong chart. 10, composed defender, spoils, clever pass. Oh, okay. On a 0 to 8, you can still potentially score there, and then there's also more chances down here. But in this case, their defense stopped us. Okay. All right, 5 more go by. Getting to the end of the game here. So this is a very important possession, and of course it goes to them, and we did not defend. $78. I gotta hope that that's pretty high. So hopefully that is not the score. 78. Pay the price. If attacking stamina is 7 or more, their stamina is 8. Take 1 hit for a crease chance. So they're going to take a hit, but then they are going to get a crease chance of 94. Okay, 94 is, I'm pretty sure, too high. Okay, goalie stat of 2 or more saves. Our goalie is a 6, so we did make the save. All right, there are 4 minutes left, and it is tied up. If it weren't tied up, if the game were within 2 goals but not tied, then you do go into the last 2 minutes, and there are mechanics for pulling the goalie, actually. So hopefully we get to that. Let's see. So 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, if someone scores here, we will get to see how pulling the goalie works. All right, and there is going to be an attack. Let's see. Hopefully it's our possession. Nope, it is theirs, and we did not defend. So the 2 on the red die again means it's theirs because they're a 1 and 9, and our defense is 6. 11 is higher than that. So let's see. They rolled a 36. Uh-oh. I think that's at least a chance for them. 36. If their attack is 8 or higher, they score. Their attack is only 5. If their attack is 6 or 7, they get a crease chance. Their attack is 5. Attack of 5 or 4 or 5, they get a slot chance. Otherwise, it is shot is dragged wide into the corner. So they will get a slot chance with 2 minutes to go. 94 is going to be a no. Save made. Okay. There are 2 minutes left. So if this D6 comes back any higher than 2, we are going to overtime. It is a 3, so we are going to overtime. I have that on the back of this sheet. There are 5 overtime possessions, and you're rolling on a different chart. So in hockey, overtime, if you're unfamiliar, is currently 3-on-3 hockey. And that's called open ice because there's a lot of open ice, right? Because there's 4 less players on the ice. So on this open ice chart, you're going to look on the 3-on-3 side. You would also use this if there were somehow 2 double penalties going on for both teams, but more likely you're going to use the 3-on-3 for any overtimes. So we're going to go ahead and put that here. For the first possession here, for this one, you roll a d20. It's one of the only charts you only roll a d20 on. There's 1 or 2 that you do. So d20 roll of a 4. That is a home attack column A. So it is our possession because we are the home team, and we get a chance. We get a chance to go ahead and win using column A. That is a 41. On a 41, if our attack is 10 or more, we score. Our attack is not 10, it is 7. Now, I don't think I found this in the rules, or I might have just missed it in the rules. It specifically says column A, so I don't think you go to column B and then column C, because on a 41, we actually would get a slot chance. So I'm not sure if that is what you do, because it just says column A. Home attack. Let me see if I can find that real quick. We'll be right back. Okay, according to the resolving attack action section of the rule book, you do advance down the columns. This is only the 2nd or 3rd time that I've had an overtime. So we are going to advance down the column then to see here, the columns to see if it makes sense that you would have the attacks work the same way. So on a 41, 8 or 9, crease chance. 7 is a slot chance. So this is for the win. 84 will not be for the win. Goalie of 2 or better will save it, and their goalie is better than 2, an 8, I think. All right, that was the first possession of overtime. Second possession of overtime. That is a nat 20 on a 20, back and forth, but no shots on goal. So no one really ever got possession. Nobody got a shot. Third possession of overtime. That is a 7, and on a 7, the visitor gets a chance to attack using the attack columns. Let's see what they get. 81. Pay the price. If attacking stamina is 7 or more, it is 7. Take 1 hit. They will take a hit, and they get a crease chance. This is for them to win. That is an 86. Our goalie is 3 or higher, so they make the save. All right. Second to last possession of overtime. That is a 16, which is back and forth, no shots. All right. And last possession of overtime. That's cocked. That is an 8. That is them. They have a chance to win it in the last seconds of the game. 83. Attacking stamina greater than defensive stamina crease chance. It is not. They just paid that stamina to get their last chance. Equal stamina, slot chance. It is not equal. Attacking stamina less than the defense, point chance. Okay, so they still have a chance from the point. That is a 63 from the point. Our goalie is higher than 2, so we save it. For the first time for me, we're going to a shootout. Okay, so on the chance board, there is also a shootout section over here. So we are going to do a shootout. So the shootout is going to be 3 rounds, and we're just going to mark down whether there is a good shot or not a good shot, basically. So let's see. Home team will go first, and we're going to go ahead and roll. Oh, no, it's a D100. That is an 87. On an 87, save is made. Terrible shot, so I'm going to put an X. We did not make the shot. They will now attempt their first shootout shot of a 12. That's going to be, yeah, that is a goal. Okay, and then we are going to attempt our second shot. That is a 94. We do not want to win this one. So that is another miss. They put this in, they win. That is a 28. Our goalie would need to be a 9 or higher to make that save. Our goalie is only a 6. They've put 2 in. We can only put 1 more in. That is the end of the game. You can also roll for that. Overtime's a little weird. If you score goals in overtime, you technically don't get credit for those on the stat sheet. But New York did end up winning the game. So we'll go back to our score here. No one scored in the third. So the game technically ended 2-2. But New York will get a third point to signify that they won. And we get a shootout loss. All right, my losing streak continues. Let's see, that is 7, I think. So I'm going to put, that is an overtime loss of 3-2. And I'm just going to put an SO for a shootout. Our next game, and I'm going to play one more here, is against Winnipeg. The Jets are coming to town. All right, just going to sub out their card. We're going to reset our stamina. I'm going to grab a new sheet, keeping that one so that I can update my Google Doc later. This is also the last game that I'm playing because this is the last sheet that I have printed out. All right, now we're just going to refill stuff in here real quick. So we are still Columbus. Let's see who is in goal for us for this game. You also could just make this decision if you want. I'm not doing that because I would just choose Jet Greaves every time because his goalie ranking of 12 is insane. Jet is going to get a shot, though. That is a 90. So somebody must be hurt. They're calling Jet up from the Cleveland Monsters, and he is going to jump in with his 12-goal stat. All right, we are home. So that is a 9, 7, 6, 4. 4, 6 on the power play, 4 on the penalty kill. All right. Winnipeg. They are away, so they have 7. Oh, boy, their defense is 10. Their power play is 11. It's almost like they're a good team. Let's see who their goalie is. That is a 1, so that's going to be their starter, Connor Hellebuck, whose goal is a 10. It is very silly to see Jet Greaves with a better stat than Connor Hellebuck, but statistically, sure, in the 7-8 games that Jet played last year. Okay, so the con range, we have a 9 minus 7. That is a difference of 2, which is the same as last game. This is going to be a 10 to 20, and this is going to be a 1 to 9. The aggressions are both 4 and 4, so the puck battle is also going to happen on a 15 or higher. All right, let's get after it. All right, we are going to have an attack opportunity at 3. Let's see who it is. It is them, and I most definitely did not defend. This could go very poorly very quickly here. Here we go, 57 on the attack. Column A here. If their attack is 11 or higher, they score. It's not. They have a 7 attack. So they are going to get a point chance here in column C. From the point, a 99, that is going to be a save by Jet Greaves. Anybody actually would have saved that one. I would have saved that one. All right. Let's see what we got. All right, another attack opportunity. Let's see who gets it. We get it, but they defend. So we are rolling on the defend column of 52, which is most likely. Yep, defenders force an off-balance shot. So we had possession, but nothing came of it. Okay. Okay, we're going to have a puck battle. That was a 20. With 7 to go in the first. Didn't need to roll those. Okay, puck battle of a 67. In the first, crash the net. All right, we're going to do an aggression check. Okay. Same as last time. The blue is the visitors and the red is the home. All right, so the visitors are going to be more aggression here. The higher result deals 1 hit plus 1 hit if they also have 1 or more enforcers. So enforcers, I'm not sure if you can see it on these cards, but have like a little shield symbol. So for Columbus, Matthew Olivier is our enforcer. There's also, they have Mark Scheifele on their team. It looks like waves, little saw blades or whatever. That's an agitator. So they do not have an enforcer, which means they are going to deal 1 hit to us. So our stamina will go down. Then they create a crease chance. So they are going to get a chance as well in the crease. A 40. Goalie has to be 10 or higher to save that. Well, luckily we are starting Jet Greaves and his insane 12. So Winnipeg is going to take that chance and Jet will shut them down. All right. Yeah, if you do the option of just optionally choosing your goalie, you're obviously going to choose whoever's the highest. So you'd have to put in some type of, hey, after 2 or 3 games in a row, you have to start somebody else so they can have a rest, that kind of thing. All right, in 3, we are going to have another attack opportunity for them, and we do not defend. They roll a 28. On a 28, attack of 6 or higher scores. Yep, their attack is 7, so they are going to score. Winnipeg is on the board first. And they're up 1-0. Just in case you were curious, let's see, who scored that goal? 52. Cole Perfetti put that one in. All right, let's keep on keeping on here. See if we can respond. All right. We are last minute of the game, or of the period. They are going to get another shot, and we are not defending. 79. Pay the price. If attacking stamina is 7 or more, take 1 hit for a crease chance. So they get into the crease. That is a 55. There's a glare here. On a 55 in the crease, goalie has to be 8 or higher for a save. Well, Jet is earning his paycheck, and he's going to make another save that otherwise would have gone in. So had I not rolled for Jet Greaves to be in goal, it would be 3-0 right now. All right, so currently, though, it is 1-0. And let's go ahead and get into that second period. All right, double ones there. So we are going to have an attack chance right off the bat in the second for us, but they did defend because their defense stat is absolutely insane. Oh, that's 0-0, though. I think that might be, at the very least, a chance. Yeah, that is a slot chance. Even though their defense has been really good, that is a slot chance. And on a 13, they would need a goalie of 12 or higher. They would need a Jet Greaves to stop that. And unfortunately for them, they only have probably the best goalie in the league, who's only a 10. So that is going to be a goal for us to tie it up. Let's see, who got past Connor Hellebuck? 88, so somebody low on the totem pole here. Damon Severson, a defenseman, got the goal. Did he have anyone assist? A 2, so he had 1 assist, and I believe, yeah, if it is repeated, which it won't be, 14, that is Adam Fantilli. Continues his good season. Here, not in real life. In real life, he's underperforming, if we're being honest. Dude, still doing fine. All right, so it is tied up. All right, so we're going to have a puck battle. That is a 6. We are in the second period. I'm on 6. Another aggression check, a minor penalty, and a hit. All right, they were more aggressive, so they're going to do a hit, but it is a penalty. So, Winnipeg, minor penalty, which means we are on the power play for at least 1. If we score here, we will no longer be on the power play. And 18 might actually do it. Let's see here. First of all, our power play is a 6. Their penalty kill is a 5. So we are a +1 in favor of the power play unit. And an 18 is a score. So we only have, so the power play will end, because that's just how power plays work. But we do score to go up 2-1. Let's see who did it. That is a 5. That is going to be Kirill Marchenko. Did anyone assist Kirill the Thrill? 12, which is 2 random assists. 33. That is Zach Werenski, the man himself. He better win the Norris this year. If you're a hockey fan, Werenski, look at the stats and the team he's on. He better win the Norris this year. All right, and a 12, which is Adam Fantilli. Man, wish he were doing this well in real life. He will. He'll get there. Okay. Let's keep on keeping on here. This period has been kind to us. So 4, we're going to have another attack chance. Let's see who gets it. It is a 12, so we do. And they rolled an 11, so they are not going to defend this. Of course, we rolled a 99, so we're most likely not going to do anything. On a 99, there's actually a split. You roll a d20. That is an 18. On an 18 is attack greater than defense. Our attack is 7. Their defense is 10. If so, crease chance. So we move on. Attack and opposing defense equal, point chance. No. Attack less than opposing defense, no shot. Defenders get on top of the play. So no shot for us. Had we rolled a 1 to 5 on the d20, we would have had a penalty shot. And then we would have used the shootout column on the chance chart to see if we scored a goal. All right. We're going to have a puck battle in 3 minutes. 26. We are in the second period still. So 26 is a minor penalty on the home team. We do a hit, but we also have to go on the kill. Okay. So Winnipeg is going on the power play. Probably not good for us. Their power play is 11. Our penalty kill is 4. So they are going to be all the way to the left on a 5 or more advantage on the power play. On a 36, they have a slot chance. On a 52 slot chance, Jet Greaves will make the save. All right, so we're going to mark that like this, but they still have 1 time slot of a power play. So let's see here. That is a 52. Is that the same thing? No, big save made. Didn't even need to look at the charts for that one. That was just a great save by Jet. All right, let's see. There are 3 minutes to go, and that is a 5. So that is the end of the second period. All right, with our 2 goals, we have taken the lead. Can we keep it and end my 7-game losing streak? I sure hope so. Let's find out. All right, we are going to have a puck battle. Minute 16 there. Oops, wrong dice. Ooh, double zeros on a puck battle in the third period. This is another D20 roll to see what happens. So there's 3 options to see what happens. So let's roll the 20 here. We're going to roll the red one. That's cocked. 19. On a 19, there is an aggression check, a major penalty, also deal 2 hits. Okay. So let's see who wins the aggression check. 14 to 12. 14 is us, and we add 4. They also add 4. This isn't great. So we have a major penalty. Let's be honest, it's probably on Matthew Olivier for just beating the pulp out of somebody. So we're going to deal 2 hits. Yay. So they're down to 6. But they're on the power play for 5 minutes. So on a major penalty, again, if you're not overly familiar with hockey, on a major penalty, that is a 5-minute power play regardless of whether or not you score. So you can score as many times on the advantage as possible. Or not, yeah, as you can. Okay, so, and again, they are a +5 or more. So they're using this. Now, if they do score, this shifts to the right every time they score, making it less likely that they're going to get 5 goals here. But let's find out. First power play minute. That is an 80. Minor penalty on the power play unit. Ends the power play or adjusts man advantage accordingly. Okay. So that means for the next 2 minutes, it's actually 4 on 4. I haven't had this happen before. This is weird. Also neat. So Winnipeg has a, whoops, it's up here. Winnipeg minor penalty. All right, so for the next 2 minutes, we are going to use this 4 on 4 open ice here. So it's a D20. So that is a 1. That is a home attack. So we will get a chance. That is a 70. Attack of 13 scores. 11 to 12 gets a chance. 9 or 10 gets a chance. And we are not at, we are at a 7. All right. So for this, nothing happens. Okay. We have another time slot of 4 on 4. So another D20. That is a 17. Nothing happens. Okay, so we go back over here. Nothing happens. Their penalty is now over. So there are 2 minutes left here. There's 2 time slots left of our major penalty, which they will now go back to just the normal power play chart. That is a 5. That's most definitely going to be a goal. It most certainly is. So they're going to score a goal. And I believe that ties it up. Yep. 2-2. Just for fun, let's see who scored for them. On a 13, that is going to be Kyle Connor, puts in the score. However, it is a major penalty. So they still are on the power play. So they're going to get another shot. However, because they scored, they are going to shift to the right. That is a 45. Attacking stamina is greater than defense. No, our defense is greater. Otherwise, point chance. So they're going to get a point chance. All right, so point. That is a 92, which is a save. So we made through the major penalty, only giving up 1 goal, which unfortunately was for the tie. All right, we keep going. There's going to be another attack opportunity. For who? For them, and we did not defend. So they're going to be using the normal chart on a 76. On a 76, comeback surge. If the attacking team is trailing, they score. We are tied. If we're tied, they get a slot chance. So let's see here. That is a 10. That is a score. Unfortunate. With Jet in the goal, I really thought we might have a win this game, but that is going to put us behind 3-2. All right, we got a few minutes left here. That's cocked. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we could still do that. So this will happen. We're going to say this happens at the 140 slot because I rolled a 5. So we're going to get this shot, and it is going to be, yeah. Actually, no, it's 5, so it just comes down here. So we are going into 2-minute offense, or a 2-minute drill with the empty net kind of here. So we empty our net. So now the time works a little differently. We're going to use the D6 as a D3. So on a 1 or a 2, we're going to advance once, 2 or 3 or 4 twice, and 5 or 6 3 times. On this bottom part, this is the under 2 minutes in the final minute here. And we're going to use the empty net chart. So we're trying to score. We've emptied our net. Jet is out. He's done a great job. All right, so I rolled a 3, which means we're going to do 1, 2. So it is our chance. And then we're going to grab the empty net, and let's see what we can do. Let's see. For this one, you want to look at attack versus defense. Our attack is 7, their defense is 10. So the defense has an advantage of 1-4. So for us to score, just straight up score, we need a 0 through 4. We will get a slot chance. We need single digits, basically. That is a 72. No chance, defense clogs the lanes. So that did not work. Again, we do a D6. That is a 3. So we're going to go 1 and 2. I'm going to get another chance with Jet on the bench. That is a 37. So we look at 37. Save made, shot ricochets wide off the goalie. If this is a 5 or 6, game over. If it's a 1-4, we have 1 more chance, or maybe 2 more chances. That is a 6. The game is over, and we have lost yet again. 3-2. So I shall extend my losing streak to 8 games. But they're fun. I really enjoy this one. 3-2. And to be honest, I mean, Columbus was not great last year. So an 8-game losing streak is not overly surprising. I don't think they had that bad of a losing streak last year, though. So I wish I was winning some more games. There's also a chance my dice aren't balanced because a couple of my players are doing much better than they should be. And that would just be from these two rolling the same series of numbers a few times. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. So we did a top 10 solo video on the YouTube channel, myself, Tim, and Josh. And one of Josh's was a game called Dead Ball. and it was basically a baseball simulator that had tables for rolling for injuries and things like that. This is pretty close to that for hockey, I think. It's not as involved, I don't think, as Dead Ball. There's not as much narrative as Dead Ball, but it's more than just straight simulation, because there is a little bit of flavor in what you're reading. You can add your own flavor if you want. I've never really been one to do that. Josh and Tim definitely do that. And we have our Kingdom Legacy playthrough, and Josh is, he builds a narrative with all the cards and stuff like that. I play the game for the most part. And for me, this isn't really a game. It's a simulation, but it's fun. And I enjoy keeping track of all the stats. I have stats from their actual stats of what they did last year, so I can compare how they're doing compared to their total numbers from last year. Again, that's just something I enjoy doing. So this one was definitely up my alley. I am glad I picked it up, and I will most likely go back and get the new season next year when it comes out, especially as of the time of recording. The Blue Jackets are doing quite well right before the Olympic break. And yes, I know that was a while ago. I'm recording these quite a bit in advance. So, but yeah, this one, quite enjoyable. Very happy with it. And I'm going to keep playing this one, I think, for quite a bit. I'm a huge hockey fan. If you're the same, look into this one. It's not overly expensive if you just do the PDFs. I want to say it's maybe $20 or something like that. The teams really is where, I think it was $11.50 for last year's roster of teams. And yeah, you just get the PDF, you can print it off, get some dice, and you're good to go. So, all right, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you for joining me. Hope you had a good time. I know I did. We'll catch you next time.